without your support. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to get started. Go ahead and enjoy your salads while we begin. I'm going to make some opening remarks. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Renee Jordan. I am the current chapter president for the next maybe hour and a half before I turn it over. And it's my pleasure to welcome you tonight to the annual Installation and Awards Banquet. This is always an exciting time for the chapter as we take the opportunity to recognize the achievements of the past year and celebrate the beginning of a new chapter year. As you may recall, last June, the chapter received the Shelton Award. It's in recognition of 5 years of sustained excellence. The Shelton Award is a highly coveted award that each chapter strives to achieve. The Florida chapter intends to win this award again in 2018. But in order to do so, we need all of your help and support. You can support in many ways, by volunteering on a committee, by attending a conference or a webinar, or simply taking time to fill out a survey or visit our website to keep up to date on our events. We had over 130 volunteers this year, which is a testament to our chapter's success. I truly appreciate all of your time and effort, and I wish I could call each one of you up here to recognize you tonight. Please accept this thank you and know that you made a difference in the chapter. I also hope your volunteer experience was beneficial and meaningful to you. Now I would like to recognize the 2013-14 board and committee chairs. When I call your name, please come up front and stay up front until your names have been all been called. And please hold your applause until the end so we can move through this rather quickly. Okay, we will start with Billie Jean Mounts, President-Elect. Okay, maybe just for her. Mimi Taylor, Immediate Past President. Chris Durkin, Treasurer. Cindy Kushner, Secretary. Mike Vickers, Director of Education and Program Chair. Christy Summers, Director of Administration, Corporate Sponsor Chair. Mike Doerr, Director of Policy and Finance. Janet Romano, Director of Membership. Ivy Bibler, Director, North Region Education. John Pedros, Director, West Region Education. Victor Munoz, Director, South Region Education. Brian Green, Director, Central Region Education. Lisa Sasso, Registration Chair. Jim Grigsby, Membership Outreach Chair. Debbie Badaya, DCMS and Founders Chair. Natalie Billow, Webmaster Communications Chair. David Sierra, Strategic Alliance Chair. Glenn Gill, Certification Chair. Renee Berger, Member Engagement Chair. Tim Powell, Webinar Chair. David Wildebrandt, Link Chair. Esther Surjone, Newsletter Chair. Joanne Aquilina, CFO Forum Chair. Candice Tetamonte, Reimbursement Forum Chair. Mimi Taylor, Technology Forum Chair. Karen Fry, Revenue Cycle Forum Chair. Lisa Matthews, Chair, Curriculum Committee. And this is your 2013-2014 leadership team. I have a couple of awards that are not traditional for this portion of the evening, but they're very well deserved, and so we wanted to include them. Part of the Founders Points Awards for volunteering are at several different levels, the bronze, the silver, and the gold, and you accumulate points and put the amount of time that you volunteer for HFMA. Once you receive the gold, you think you're done, but you're not. We never let you go that easily. So there is also the Medal of Honor Award, and this is for an individual who has received the Gold Award and has continued for at least 3 years to be an active member in a substantial way of the chapter. And we have 2 recipients tonight that we would like to recognize for this prestigious award. The first Medal of Honor tonight goes to Chris Durkin. Medal of Honor recipient is Ralph Lawson.
I would have worn a suit if I had known this.
We're happy we now have Ralph in Florida, so we gained him. Okay. I never anticipated this part of the presidency to be so difficult. But fortunately, we have so many deserving volunteers that it was a challenge to choose just a few. I don't have an award for one of our brightest stars here tonight, our incoming chapter president, Billie Jean Mounts, but I think she has received most of these awards already. Billie Jean, I'm very excited for you in this upcoming year. I know you will do an amazing job, and your well-planned strategic goals will be implemented with great success. I wish you all the luck in the world. Okay, now to our first award. The award is for the regional director. The chapter often highlights a regional director for their extraordinary efforts, and this year we have a regional director who went above and beyond what was asked of him. At the beginning of the year, this director and I had a conversation about expanding the committees to have more roles of responsibility for developing the education sessions. A short time later, he came back to me with a plan that simply blew me away. I was a little concerned that his goals were a bit lofty, but I hoped he could pull it off. Well, much to my delight, he did, and then some. His team produced 6 highly successful regional events which were well thought out, developed, and executed. Each event provided top-notch education, meaningful networking opportunities, resulting in sold-out events, triple the education hours that were anticipated, and he did it all with a substantial profit to the chapter. His team tapped into the resources of our corporate sponsors. Once again, thank you. And his committee model and education plan has really set a new standard for the chapter. And I know Billie Jean plans to promote more educational opportunities at the local level. So I want to thank Victor for leading the way to a new and improved path.
All
recognition for the time they devote to the chapter and promoting the chapter's missions and goals. This year, I chose an individual who devotes hours of time behind the scenes, assisting many of the board members and committee chairs. Her efforts are not generally known or seen, but she works without recognition on a day-to-day basis. I had to rely on her a lot for the technology skills she possesses, since that is not my strong suit. So I'm very appreciative to have been able to rely on her for website and communication skills. The constant updating of information and communications is a daunting task, but she handled it all in a very professional and capable manner. And this individual went above and beyond to assist me in getting the forums up and running, and continues to work on the initiation of the forum blogs. I am pleased to present Natalie Billow. Although many people came to mind for the Outstanding Member Award, one person jumped to the forefront. As I mentioned, one of my goals this year was to create the forum groups for members to communicate their specific issues and successes with their colleagues. There were several individuals who were instrumental in putting the plan for the forums into action. However, one of the forum chairs was ahead of the curve in starting up a forum group and running it before the official forum recruitment even started. She knew what the members of the forum group wanted, and she provided it in regular meetings. I appreciate that she shares the same vision and led the initiative on her own. This individual has shown that she has what it takes to be a meaningful member of the leadership team, and thus she will be installed tonight on the new board of directors, overseeing the interactive learning initiatives for the chapter. I have every confidence that she will bring new and innovative learning opportunities to the chapter this year. I want to thank Candy for making the goal a reality. This year's award for Outstanding Member. Okay, next, the President's Mentor Award is given to an individual that has been a mentor to the President in the past, the present, and hopefully the future. I have been so fortunate to have so many HFMA mentors over the past 18 years. I think just about every past president has reached out to me in one way or another to guide me in my path to becoming chapter president. I am happy to call each one of them my friend. But there is one person who took a special interest in me 18 years ago when I first became a member. It started out with a simple request to help put together conference registration bags, which gave me the opportunity to get involved, meet new people, and feel a part of the chapter. But of course, it didn't stop there. She continued to ask me to volunteer for various committees, which resulted in my involvement in many chapter activities. It was always a subtle push to get involved, and I enjoyed learning more and more about the chapter. However, a few years ago, the subtle mentoring led to a less subtle question: are you ready to be president? And thus my path leading up to this last year began. I feel blessed to be the beneficiary of her guidance, support, and friendship over the years. The President's Mentoring Award goes to Jamie Wiley. Is given to an individual who has supported the President in achieving the goals set out for the chapter. This person shares the vision and passion I have for the chapter and was a huge asset to me this year. I have been continually impressed with his skills over the last few years. He first appeared to me to be quiet and reserved, but I quickly learned that this is far from the case, and he's a very talented and outgoing person. I first noticed his talents with his work on the membership committee with statistics and innovative ideas. Then his talents really appeared as he was unexpectedly thrust into the role of corporate sponsorship chair when that role was vacated. He took our corporate sponsorship program to a whole new level, and sponsorship flourished. When I asked him to take on the role of Director of Education this year, he was surprised and needed some time to consider the responsibilities associated with the position. I knew that he could do it and do it well, but he would not be satisfied with doing anything just well. So, of course, when he took on the role, he took it on big. He restructured the Education Committee to handle every facet of responsibility needed to organize and implement conferences for several hundred people. He recruited several new committee members who had not previously been involved, which has led to a whole new group of future chapter leaders. And as if that wasn't enough, he found time to assist me in the implementation and recruitment of the forum groups. His skills and passion for HFMA have been a huge asset to me this last year, and our chapter is lucky to have such a dedicated chapter leader. I'm pleased to present the President's Award to Mike Vickers. Lastly, I would like to recognize this year's Morgan Award recipient. The Frederick C. Morgan Individual Achievement Award is the highest award that HFMA National bestows on an individual and is designed to recognize a member for outstanding contributions to HFMA as a result of substantial activities over the course of a career. The Florida Chapter recognized that we have a member who exemplifies the attributes of the Morgan Award. Therefore, we undertook the application process of nominating Bob Broadway for the 2014 Morgan Award. And I'm very pleased to announce that the Frederick C. Morgan Award will be presented to Bob next month at HFMA's Annual National Institute in Las Vegas. That's the big announcement, but it's out there. You saw that in the brochure. Now, the chapter was very confident that Bob would receive this award, as we've been the direct beneficiary of the years of Bob's service to our chapter. Bob served as the Florida Chapter President in 1985-86, and he stayed a very active member of the chapter ever since. He also lent his time and talents to HFMA on both regional and national levels, serving in many roles, including the position of HFMA National Chair for 2009 and 10. Bob has been an inspiration and mentor to many HFMA leaders in the Florida chapter. He selflessly gives his time to members in guiding them on their journey to higher leadership roles in HFMA as well as in their own organizations. Bob's talents don't just begin and end with his remarkable sense of healthcare, finance, and strategic planning. Bob also excels in other areas such as leadership development and team building. As one of my chapter advisors this year, Bob agreed to facilitate my strategic planning meeting and do a team building exercise. Bob brought the Iron Chef competition to the strategic planning meeting. It was met with much delight and some folly and some fun and some interesting food creations. But it was truly an innovative way to bring together the leadership team to develop skills on working together. Bob's legacy with HFMA will continue for years with all of those that he has inspired and mentored. There are many of us that want to thank him for the role he has played in our lives over 30 years of his HFMA commitment. So in order to celebrate Bob's commitment to the chapter and his legacy of leadership development, the chapter voted earlier this year to create a new chapter award in his honor. It will be given each year. The Bob Broadway Distinguished Service Award will be given each year to a member who exemplifies the service to the chapter that Bob has so generously demonstrated. Wow. This year, the Bob Broadway Distinguished Service Award goes to Bob Broadway.
I'll be brief because I hope that all of you will have the opportunity to be in Las Vegas next month and be able to share, because it's really the Florida chapter that is to be honored and this award is to be shared with. I have to begin with there's not only the chapter is special and all of you are to be acknowledged. I need to, as a number of you know, I'm a planner, a master planner, strategic planning, and like to be kind of in charge, would you say, Mary and Jamie, of all of this. Well, tonight this absolutely got away from me. And it did because Renee, Jamie, Mary, Joanne, Billie Jean, a number of you absolutely changed things and I was totally without knowledge of something. First off is that table over there. I need to recognize the one individual's been side by side with me, and Billie Jean, you have someone side by side with you. Stay with her for many, many years to future, because it can't be done without you. It's my wonderful wife of 39 wonderful years. We've been married. We violated one of the actual rules tonight in this room, because other than the A&I, we have Kim Hunter-Griffin at the table, past board member. We have past national chairman, dear friend of mine, Mr. Canfield, Dave Canfield. You do have socks on tonight. Debbie Kuchka-Craig, and a dear friend, who she's married to, Roy. We go back. It's incredible, the fishing stories we'll not tell you about the shark. Greg Adams, who's also past national chair, and a dear friend, Ralph Lawson, who we have a new relationship, perhaps in a business relationship in addition. My team was making connections when I was chairman. Hopefully I've done that, so today the Clyde Latcham asked me to be involved as a member of this chapter. And with that, I say thank you to Clyde, who got me involved. I know that someone out there got you involved today as I looked at it as I did my presentation. To the Blue C, a symbol of the leadership in this chapter, the blue shirts. You're the one that deserves and shared this award. Thank you so much.
Is the Florence Henry Award, and Billie Jean will be coming up. She was the recipient of the award last year, and as such, she was the chair of the committee for nominating the recipient this year. So she is going to present this award.
The Florence Henry Award is an award given in memory of Florence Henry, who was the CFO at Parkway Regional Medical Center and served as the second female president for the HFMA Florida Chapter in 1980-1981. She served as a mentor to many HFMA members, and the award was created in her name to recognize women members with leadership potential who champion innovation and add a new dimension to the chapter. The recipient is selected by a committee of previous award winners, many of whom are here tonight. I would like to invite them on the stage to join me for this year's presentation. Wendy Resnick, Jamie Wiley, Mary Madura, Kathy Reed, Renee Jordan, Karen Fry, and Joanne Aquilina. In terms of championing innovation and adding a new dimension to the chapter, this year's recipient has done this on a number of occasions. I met this year's recipient at a conference a few years back when we were with a small group of people who found themselves without dinner plans. Imagine that, a provider without a dinner plan. We quickly made a plan and discussed over dinner, wouldn't it be nice if there were more organized networking events at our conferences to ease the way for newcomers to meet people? And so the Hospitality Committee was born. Over the next 2 chapter years, this new volunteer created meaningful networking opportunities at our statewide meetings, such as a wine tasting, the NFL experience, a golf tournament, a fishing trip, and casino night. And the list just goes on and on. She saw the need, brought forth the idea with a spirit of innovation, and she made it happen. This past year, she formed a special interest group, Women in Healthcare Leadership, or what we like to call WIL. And she hosted an inaugural event in Tampa. This one-day event drew over 100 attendees. As part of the agenda, she highlighted the HFMA volunteer experience and organized the event with several of our women chapter leaders who are here tonight. The success of the event spurred interest in HFMA, and the group was highlighted again in a pre-conference session at the Region 5 Dixie Institute held this year in Mobile, Alabama. She was instrumental in adding this new dimension to the chapter, which resulted in the formation of a new forum for this year, Women's Leadership Forum. I met with this group 6 weeks ago to select this year's recipient, and so it was already determined prior to LTC in National Harbor, Maryland. During the chapter planning time at LTC, I went around the room and I asked my leadership team, why HFMA? It is of no surprise that a number of chapter leaders shared, I got involved with HFMA because of this year's recipient. Talk about quick affirmation that we made the right decision. Please join me in congratulating this year's recipient of the Florence Henry Award, Abby Birch. Now at this time, I would like to introduce to you Kim Griffin Hunter, who is going to come up and do our installation. Kim Griffin Hunter is a partner with Deloitte. She serves on the national board for HFMA. She is a Florida Chapter member and a very good friend of mine. So it means the world to me. She made a huge sacrifice to travel in to be here tonight. And I'm glad she's here. So welcome, Kim.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So there are 3 rules that they say when you're on the podium that you're not supposed to break. And that is, you're not supposed to talk about politics, you're not supposed to talk about religion, and you're not supposed to talk about sports. So I'm breaking 2 of the 3 rules before I install the new upcoming board members. So the 2 rules I'm going to break is, one is, go Miami Heat! Sorry, we are in Florida. Tonight, you know, local, let's just do it tonight. What time is it? Keep score. So we got to finish this off right now. Okay, just get a break. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, I want to thank God for giving me the opportunity to be here and the blessings that HFMA has given me. And I will get teary-eyed if I say too much, but like this table over here that Bob recognized, the leaders of the organization, former board members, governance members, people who helped me get on the board. I can't say enough of all the smiling faces over there. And I don't want to call any particular names, but I will call at least one, because Ralph Lawson knows he's my big brother and always has been since I was 21 years old working for Deloitte & Touche. And so that was only like 5 years ago, because I'm only 26, so let's get that straight right now. But other board members, past board members who are on the governance committee, Bob and Debbie and Greg, past chair, and David, your legacy, so I am blessed to have the opportunity just to be here And that's why it was not a sacrifice, Billie Jean. It was an opportunity that God gave me. So I thank this organization. I thank the Florida leadership for involving me in everything. I'm going to read something, and so again, going against what the principals say, and I always break the rules. And what it says is, when you pray, think about all the blessing God has given to you, especially the ones He has showered on you this day. Let your words overflow with gratitude for the kindnesses you have received and the privilege of showing kindness to others. Nothing's too small to escape your notice. Mention the friendly chat with a neighbor, the warm smile of a passerby, or the helpful advice from a friend. Thank Him for the privilege of fixing dinner. Thank you to our servers. Thank Him for connecting with a relative, praying for someone else's need. Thank Him for all the ways He has been super kind to you and to me. Every day when we get up at HFMA, we are mission-oriented, as at the end of the day, we're trying to take care of patients no matter what you do, whether you work in the provider setting, the payer, life sciences, professional services firm. At the end of the day, though, what we do really makes a difference for kind of human beings, humankind, and what we do. So the sacrifices all of you have done today are phenomenal to our past leadership team and to our current leadership team. I say thank you for the blessings you bestowed on the individuals outside of this room. So, congratulations to all of the award recipients, and I would be here an hour if I were to get into all the details of them, because several of them are my friends and people I've watched and admired who have done phenomenal work, and Renee and all the past leaders. So with that, before we install the new chapter board members, I'd like to recognize the board members that have served in the past year. Those who are completing their term. So I'm going to ask, if I call their name, and ask them to please stand and be recognized. If you could please hold your applause until the end. So first, our president, Madam President, our lady, who has done a phenomenal job, Miss Renee Jordan. Okay, our President-Elect, who we'll talk about later, Miss Billie Jean Mounts. Our Secretary, Miss Sydney Kushner, who she and I try and have breakfast dates on a regular basis. Our Treasurer, Chris Durkin. Our immediate past president, who could not be here today, Mimi Taylor. Our Director of Education Program Chair, Mike Vickers. Our Director of Policy and Finance, Mike Durr. Our Director of Member Services, Janet Romano. Our Director of Administration, Christy Summers. Director of Education, West Region, John Boudreaux. All right, thank you. Director of Education, North Region, Ivan Bibler. Director of Education, Central Region, Brian Green. And our Director of Education, South Region, Victor Munoz. So since you did applaud, I'd just like to say these individuals have made personal sacrifices of their time. In case some of you do not know, this is not a paid job. So don't tell anyone. I'm not sure what they told their significant others and spouses, but they don't get paid for this. So it's out of pure love of their hearts and gratitude and passion for the organization, the sacrifices Renee and her entire team have made. We want to say thank you on behalf of the Florida Chapter and on behalf of the National Board for all you've done. I would like to present the board members that you have elected for 2014-15 term. So anybody that has any ideas of not being sure, run out the door right now before you're installed. Because once you're installed, that's it. And I can guarantee you, based on the incoming president, it really is it. Accountability. You guys know what I'm talking about. So all of you know that serving a chapter can involve a tremendous investment of time, talent, but it's also an opportunity to discover new things, new talents, new skills, and colleagues. There are many things that I've turned down and then changed my mind, and once I changed my mind to take those opportunities, it opened my eyes to something new. So I task you with, as you take on these new roles, to open your eyes and see what it is, that next thing, that next journey. Because we all have a purpose of life, and we all have a next journey. And sometimes as we're going through challenging times, we can't really see what it's going to be, but at the end of the day, you kind of, wow, that was phenomenal, and look what I got out of it. So go into it with that, and that's why I've enjoyed my tenure as a board member. All of us are excited to see what this new group of leaders will bring to the table in the year to come. Healthcare is changing. It's not the same. We don't know what it's going to be in the next 5 years. HFMA is changing. We don't know where HFMA is going to be the next 5 years. But what we do know is we have elected a group of leaders who are innovative, and smart, and talented, and dedicated. And they will move our organization in the healthcare industry wherever we need to go. Flexibility is what they are. So as the name of the board members for the upcoming year are read, please come forward and stand at the front of the podium. Our incoming president, Billie Jean Mounts. Our president-elect, Chris Durkin. Our secretary, Mike Vickers. Our treasurer, Cindy Kushner. Our immediate past president, Renee Jordan. Our director of education, program chair, Lisa Matthews. Director of policy and finance, Christy Summers. Our director of member services, Janet Romano. Our director of administration, Jonathan Groves. David Wildenberg. Director of Education, Central Region, Brian Green. Director of Education, South Region, Mike Durr. Director of Education, Interactive Learning, Candace Tenamonte. Board members and those continuing in office, I extend my sincere congratulations on behalf of the National Board and the Florida Chapter. We are confident that you, the wisdom of your peers, have shown by now. We are all looking forward to working with you. While the duties of the individual officers are outlined in the bylaws, I'd like to take a moment now to remind each officer, each director, and everyone here what we are looking to them to provide. To the directors, final authority and direction of the chapter rests with the board. As you serve, I hope you can foster a spirit of unity, friendship, and fairness in determining the right course for chapter affairs. To the treasurer, as finance professionals, I hardly need to stress the importance and responsibility of our chapter's funds. The financial well-being of the chapter depends on you, and we want more lobster next year. I'm certain you will make us proud. To the secretary, to keep the official records of meetings and serve as an essential liaison between the chapter and national HFMA. However, no recordings that aren't asked first, please. I trust that you will do your best to keep the lines of communications open. To the president-elect, this is especially important to you. Take the time to observe the functioning of the president within the chapter and to consider how you might apply your own ideas in the year to come. To the president, before I read your duties, I'd like to say something first to Billie Jean. Some people do the right thing, because they're motivated by the promise of a reward. For every gesture of a kindness or offer to help, they expect payment, whether in money, a favor in return, or praise in front of others. But your spirit-inspired motivation is different. You do the right thing in response to the reward you already possess. Your God-given heart of kindness and attitude of compassion, the sacrifices you have made, and all you think, say, and do, coming Thanksgiving for the reward He has reserved for you and your family, your husband, and your extended family, your mom, dad, the reward of His love. Love you, Billie Jean. Your duties. You have been chosen to lead the Florida Chapter of HFMA. We are all depending on you to serve the interests of the chapter, no matter where you are. To grow the chapter's presence, to foster the environment of fairness, communication, and openness and accountability. You have been given the special opportunity to guide the chapter at one of the most exciting and challenging times in our association's history. I wish you the best of luck, and I'm confident you will make us all proud. And to our past president, Renee, you completed your tenure as president. You have been special. You have been a phenomenal woman. You now become a resource for those officers as you talk about mentorship, seeking someone who has stood in their shoes. I encourage you to make yourself available to anyone who comes seeking advice, and to be who you always have been, Renee Jordan, the person who is open to everyone. Now, incoming board members, will you please answer "I do" once at the conclusion of the following questions. Do you, having duly elected as an officer or director of the Florida Chapter Healthcare Financial Management Association, hereby solemnly affirm to uphold the Constitution of HFMA and of your chapter, and agree to abide by and follow the bylaws of HFMA and of your chapter? I do. Very good. Do you promise to do your best to preserve the reputation and dignity of HFMA in your chapter? I do. Just checking. Let me know if you don't see it, I do. Do you accept all of the responsibilities designated to you as officer? I do. Then, by your acceptance, I hereby declare you installed as board members for the Florida Chapter of HFMA. National will be here to keep you our full support should you need it. But I'm confident there will be no challenge too large for the team assembled here. I look forward to a wonderful year ahead, and go Florida!
Okay, just a couple official things that I have left to do. I have the pleasure of presenting Billie Jean with her gavel.
And I plan to use it.
Yes. And her president's pen. And you know what? I'm probably going to have to pin you on this separate another time. These things are very, very secure. You'll never lose it, but it's hard to get on and off. So let's pretend.
And I also have the pleasure to present Renee Jordan with the plaque, with her gavel, to Renee Jordan for outstanding leadership as president of the Florida HFMA chapter for the 2013-2014 chapter year. Before I get started with my speech, I did want to take a moment to first thank KPMG for sponsoring this evening. Are they here tonight? Could they stand?
Yes.
KPMG. I also wanted to thank our corporate sponsors that also contributed. They support our chapter all year long, and our corporate sponsors make it possible to have, quite honestly, what is the most beautiful banquet I've seen. So I'm so blessed that we were able to do this with the support of our corporate sponsors. If you would please stand as well. I am honored to follow Renee Jordan as the Florida Chapter President for the 2014-2015 chapter year. Renee, under your leadership, the Florida Chapter continued to soar to new heights as you introduced new initiatives during this first chapter year after winning the Shelton Award. You inspired our chapter members by promoting volunteerism. You introduced innovative education programming like our Payer Summit, and you organized the provider forums to give our members a virtual venue to interact in between our chapter events. Congratulations, Renee, for a successful chapter year. During my year as President-elect, I have spent a lot of time planning and laying the groundwork, but I've also spent a lot of time reflecting on how much I have grown both personally and professionally along my HFMA leadership journey. As I look around the room tonight, I see family, friends, colleagues, mentors, and cheerleaders. I wish I had the next 3 hours to call each of you out by name, but after all, there's a dance party getting ready, waiting to get started. However, I did want to take a few minutes to recognize some of the people here tonight. To Renee Jordan and the outgoing board of directors, thank you for passing motions this year and embracing my vision for the future of the chapter. It was a huge accomplishment to formalize our chapter succession plan policy and approve the updated policy and procedures manual so our operating procedures can be published on our chapter website. You were willing to change traditions and allowed me to move the strategic planning and nominating committee process to earlier in the chapter year so I could take full advantage of my planning year. You have led the way for future leaders and put the framework in place to ease the way for new volunteers to get involved and become oriented. To my friend and mentor, Mark Spafford, thank you for taking the time to mentor me during my career at HMA. What started as a passing conversation about HFMA in the hallway one day turned out to make a huge impact on me over these last 4 years. You opened a door for me by recruiting me to succeed you when you stepped down from the board because you recognized I would benefit from this huge opportunity. Thank you for being here tonight and for bringing me to HFMA. To my employer, Providence Health and Services in Seattle, Washington. Although they couldn't be here tonight, I wanted to recognize the fact that they see the value of HFMA and the opportunity that being a chapter leader provides. They insisted that I fulfill my commitment to serve as the Florida Chapter President this year from afar, and are making accommodations for me to travel back and forth this year as needed so I could fulfill my commitment. To my family, here's where I need the tissues. Tonight I am proud to have my younger sister Susan here. I am so happy to have you here to share this moment with me. During my first year on the chapter board, my first assignment was the overhaul of the chapter website. I turned to Susan to help me with this initiative because of her expertise in website design and computer database programming. She provided me with the assessment of our chapter website, outlined what needed to be done, and helped me make it happen. Through that process, she learned about HFMA, and working with her on this project enabled me to appreciate her talents. Volunteering for HFMA gave us a common ground during a time when we weren't communicating very well. Through my chapter leadership journey, I learned from her as she experienced significant life challenges. During this time, she started on her own journey, and I watched her set one big goal after another and achieve them. Through her journey, she taught me how to get uncomfortable, create a vision for where I wanted to go, and be deliberate to make it happen. She is now on top of the world and keeps setting bigger goals. Susan, I am so proud of you. You proved to me that the big sister can learn from the little sister, and I need to spend more time sometimes letting others show me the way. And Susan needs a venue to tell her story, and I think I know some people in the room that could help with that. To my husband, I am amazed at how you can come to an HFMA event where everyone knows your name. When people see me at an HFMA event, the first question they ask is, "Where's Dan?" Thank you for supporting my involvement in the HFMA and becoming a part of it. I love more than words can say. I also want to thank all of you for welcoming my husband Dan at chapter events. Over this last year, I have been teasing him that if he wanted to keep coming to HFMA events, he needed to serve on a committee. And as you all know, I don't take no for an answer. And so Dan has agreed to champion 2 initiatives for the chapter. And yes, I did ask him in advance. First, he's going to serve as an ambassador to our members' spouses and plan social events during education events to keep our families Second, to commemorate our chapter's 60th anniversary, he is going to organize a short 3-day cruise to the Bahamas, where our members will enjoy the benefit of getting education in a new venue, feel encouraged to bring their families to meet the HFMA family, and have a respite from the office at a very low discounted rate. Since time out of the office is at a premium, imagine a chapter where all members come to our events because we are providing a venue to get education and spend some quality time with their families. Each year, the chapter president selects initiatives with hopes that they will catch on and leave a lasting legacy for the years to come. Tonight, I will outline a few of the initiatives I will focus on this year. 1, we will design innovative education programming that brings the strategic direction of the HFMA to our chapter. At LTC, we learned how our association is making a move to broaden our focus to address not only the needs of hospitals, but also physicians and payers. We will embrace these 3 circles by focusing our education on how these groups will work together as our industry moves from fee-for-service to value. 2, we will establish a regional education network. We will make education more accessible to our members by bringing education close to home. We have expanded our regional education structure to form 3 subcommittees to support our 3 regional directors. And this will increase our regional events from 12 to 36 this year. 3, we will emphasize the importance of a certification program and establish a peer-to-peer study group. The trends of mergers and consolidations will continue to impact jobs and healthcare finance. Becoming certified distinguishes you as a leader and high-level professional in the industry. It reflects a deep personal commitment and sense of accountability, and shows your confidence in your professional knowledge. Our peer-to-peer study groups will help our members prepare to earn this important certification. 4, we will focus on chapter leader development by establishing a mentoring program. Our past presidents, many of whom are here tonight, will take an active role in preparing and guiding the current and future leaders of the chapter. Chapter leaders will receive guidance during the year, and this will ease the way for volunteers to advance on their leadership journey. 5, which is 2 more. 5, we will develop a membership database to track our members. The Florida chapter is the largest chapter in the country, and we need to improve our services to our members by customizing messaging. A membership database will also enable us to measure member engagement and track the contributions our volunteers make year over year. And lastly, we will expand our outreach efforts to promote the value of HFMA to our members, our corporate sponsors, and our non-members. Currently, 50% of the hospitals in our state do not have employees in with HFMA memberships, and only 30% of our current members attend our events. We've got some great events here, so I am enlisting the help of all of our members to go out and find ways to attract new people to our events. And I need the clicker. At the start of last year, Renee Jordan started a new tradition by selecting the chapter theme, Volunteer, You Get More Than You Give. She raised the bar in our committee recruitment efforts by hosting a mini leadership training conference last year to educate chapter members on the responsibilities and opportunities of chapter leadership, sharing the HFMA acronyms like CBSC and DCMS, and we share the details of how the chapter operates. What started as a group of about 40 people grew to almost 100 attendees when I had it this year. Thank you, Renee, for starting that. Her promotion of volunteerism over this last year created a pipeline of new volunteers into the chapter, which now has grown to 130 volunteers. Over the last year, she mentored me by embracing my ideas. She enabled me to lay the infrastructure to make it happen, and she fueled my passion for HFMA by teaching me how to stay positive and enjoy the volunteer experience, even while facing career challenges through the CHS-HMA merger. Renee, thank you for teaching me these critical skills that I will pay forward to Chris Durkin as he begins his year planning as President-Elect. So I've chosen a theme of my own. And my theme is Make It Happen. So at this time, we are passing out a 5x7 index card. Please make sure everyone here has one tonight. This year, I am challenging every member of the Florida chapter, whether you are a volunteer or not, to find ways for us to improve our member services and the HFMA experience. At this year's National Leadership Training Conference, I asked the Florida leadership team, why HFMA? What I learned from this exercise is that everyone has their own personal reasons for being a part of HFMA. And because no two reasons are exactly the same, I realized that our chapter leaders have to strive even further to engage our membership. I invite you to write down your own personal reason on the card. Back in September, the Florida leadership participated in strategic planning, where we conducted a brainstorming session, and I learned we have no shortage of great ideas. Tonight, I invite you to write down 3 ideas where the chapter could serve you better. In order for our chapter to grow further, we need everyone's help to identify these opportunities. And so now I would like to ask the newly installed board for 2014-2015 to stand, and please remain standing. Thank you in advance for the work that you will do for the Florida chapter this upcoming year. You will be responsible for mentoring the committee chairs and co-chairs so they will have a successful year and enjoy the volunteer experience. It is through building relationships with them over this next year that will help you achieve your goals and will provide you with a great support system as you progress on your chapter leadership journey. And now I would like to ask those committee chairs and co-chairs to stand along with the board, and please remain standing. Thank you in advance for the work you will do this upcoming year. We are counting on you to adhere to our chapter policies, execute a plan to achieve your goals, communicate your results to the board, and ask for help whenever needed. The board is here for you, and we will enable you to make it happen. And now, I would like to ask all the past presidents of the Florida chapter to stand with us. Thank you for the specific contributions that you made during your year as chapter president, which paved the way for the Florida chapter to be recognized by National at last year's A&I with the Shelton Award, the highest and most prestigious chapter award available. Although National recognizes the last 5 presidents, our sustained excellence goes well beyond those last 5 years, and the Florida chapter is blessed that you continue to stay involved. We are counting on you to serve as mentors to our chapter leaders, encourage others to get involved, and be ready to provide guidance when someone asks for help. Over this next year, I'll be asking you to dust off the cobwebs and share stories as we celebrate our 60th anniversary year as a chapter of the HFMA. Thank you for your continued involvement that will make the Shelton repeat possible at A&I 2018. And so now I turn the focus to those of you who didn't stand. I challenge you tonight to make a commitment to put one of those ideas into action this chapter year and make it known to others. Circle one of those 3 ideas on that card and bring it forward to someone you saw standing tonight. This one idea will be the idea that you will personally champion for the benefit of the chapter and make it happen. Spend a moment talking with our board members, committee chairs, and past presidents, and give them that 5x7 card. I am charging all of them with the responsibility to follow up with you so you can make it happen. My hope is that Chris Durkin will see some of you standing along with us this same time next year. In closing, I would like to share my appreciation to all of you for giving me the opportunity to lead the Florida chapter. As an employee of a healthcare provider, I have enjoyed the experience of chapter leadership. I am inspired by the way serving as a chapter leader parallels with working in the healthcare industry. The skills needed to be successful are the same. We hardwire processes to eliminate cost and drive consistency. We focus on the patient or the member experience, and we measure our performance through metrics. There is no better place than the HFMA to learn firsthand the strategies that are needed to show value. It is through service as a volunteer where we show the value of HFMA, and together we are leading the change in our industry. When we return here next year, I can't wait for the time to reflect on the year and celebrate with all that we accomplished. Thank you for having the confidence in me to lead the Florida chapter for the 2014-2015 chapter year. Thank you all very much. So for those of you who don't know me, it's really not an HFMA event until you've heard me sing. So we're going to get the party started.